I want to show you now how you can manage your widgets. Widgets is the area under Appearance here, and it shows you two basic sections to the screen. In the center area are the widgets that you can use, and on the right, these are the areas where you can put the widgets. Now you have to drop this down and you'll see here we've got some widgets in here. That's the ones we see on the side: search, recent posts, recent comments. There they are there, and then you further drop them down when you want to actually control elements to them. So for example, we could put a title on the search if we wanted to. Recent posts, we have parameters here like title and how many posts to show. These are pretty simple widgets here. Of course, you can get some very complex widgets as well. And then you can check some areas like the secondary widget area, which is actually right under here. It's another part of the sidebar. It actually hasn't got anything in it right now. And we have areas for the footer as well, 4 of them in a row there. So this is what you can do, is you can drag things from the center here and pull them right over to there. And then of course the great advantage, once it's there, you can also move it around and decide whether it's at the top or in the center. You've got control over the order of them as well. Now there are actually 2 areas to the center part of this. Let me just close down available widgets for a moment here. We have this area called inactive widgets. Now what does that mean? The beauty of inactive widgets is, let's say you've got a widget over here with a lot of settings in it. And here's a good example. I had a Caribbean travel feed that I was using at one point. And it's got a URL, a title, some parameters. If I was to drag this from over here over to this area, we would lose those settings. I'll show you an example. So here's recent posts. Let's give it a title. My recent musings, let's say. I'm going to save that. So there I've got a title and some parameters. Now if I drag this back over to here under available widgets, it's gone from over here, but also the title's gone. See, it's just recent posts. So I've lost all of my settings, whereas with inactive widgets, had I dragged it there, I've got all my settings saved. So watch this. I've got my Caribbean travel, I've got my feed. All of that feed is remembered in my widget. So that's very, very handy, because you never know when you might want a widget again. Drag it into the inactive area and keep all the settings. Notice how I've been using the boxes. You may have to do this because of your screen size. My screen size is pretty narrow here, so I've only got 1 row of widgets. Normally with a wider screen you'd have 2 rows and you can fit a lot more in. The other thing to keep in mind is sometimes, depending on your browser and your machine and so forth, you might have trouble actually using this functionality of dragging and dropping. Sometimes it doesn't work. If you're having trouble with that, go under Screen Options up here, and you'll see something called Enable Accessibility Mode. Now watch what happens when I do this. I can now use these little buttons to control things. So instead of having a drop down, I have this, and I save my widget, and I go back over here. In other words, I control things differently. Instead of dragging and dropping, I just click, and this will add over to the side. Let's try it there. I'll just add calendar over to here, and it's going to ask me, where do you want to put it? And I want to put it into the secondary widget area, let's say, and I can select its position. There's only 1 position in there right now. Anyway, save that widget. There it is. Now it's over in my secondary widget area. Okay, so that's an alternative way of working with widgets, and I'm going to disable that mode again. Now I'm back into drag and drop, where I can just take this and drag it over to here. All right, but that gives you a backup just in case something's going wrong with your browser that way. So those are some ways you can manage your widgets.